Once again, welcome to the saskagtoday.com roundtable. I'm your host, GX94 Agriculture Director Doug Falconer. We're joined by Kevin Hursh from his home offices in Saskatoon and Ryan Young, the CKRM Agri-News Director, and he's coming to us from Agribition this week. So once again, welcome everybody. And first of all, Agribition is the big news of the week. Ryan, you've been there all week.
That's right, Doug. I have been here all week, and it's just been wall to wall when it comes to coverage and just really getting a feel for what Agribition is all about. This is my first year covering this in person, so I was really looking forward to it coming into it. Not really sure, kind of what to expect. Canada's Farm Show back in June, I guess, was kind of practice for the lack of a better term. But so far, the experience has been fantastic. The crowds, for example, they've been really good in terms of the foot traffic around Real District here in the series of buildings. It's just been packed with people walking about, checking out different venues, different events, different booths. There's plenty of exhibitors here and a lot of international visitors as well. Sean Kindop, the event CEO, was expecting around 70 countries being represented at this event. And the Monday and Tuesday, especially, were the better days for the attendance. I know talking with a few people, they were saying that typically Monday and Tuesday were kind of the slower days. So it's really nice to see everybody come out and take in Agribition.
Maybe the weather has something to do with that.
Yeah, fortunately, the weather has been great as well. Looking outside right now, right in front of the Viterra International Trade Center here. It's sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, but it's turned cold, so winter is officially here. And in terms of stories that have come up, really, it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. You just kind of walk over to one side of the building, and there's a story there. You turn around, and there's another story. So I don't even know where to begin to start. To be honest, I could start with day one of the traditional burning of the brand. It's kind of a special occasion. Jim Smalley, the former 620 CKRM Ag News director, he retired earlier this year. He had the honor to kickstart the event with Saskatchewan Premier not Brad Wall, excuse me, Scott Moe. I don't know why I said Brad Wall for some reason, but anyway, it was good. It was Jim's first time doing the branding, and he didn't quite get the brand in all the way. He just thought the brand did the work itself. So he was just lightly pressing on it. And then Scott just kind of looked over and he said, Jim, you got to put a little more pressure on it. So he was kind of helping him out put the brand in. So that was very cool. And that wasn't the only thing Jim did. He was the MC of the Grain Expo. It was a 2-day event over at the Queensbury Convention Center, and he was presiding over the very informative and very detailed information sessions from various speakers from, Viterra to CN Rail and others. So he thought it was really good. It's kind of a change of pace, first year without covering it in decades. So it was a little bit awkward for him at first, but he eventually adjusted to it, and he was really enjoying it. He had a really good time.
So you're coming to us right from the Jim Smalley newsroom at Agribition, I believe, eh?
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I go from one Jim Smalley newsroom at 620 CKRM to the other Jim Smalley newsroom, as I've called it with my colleagues. So just can't get away from it, I guess.
I suspect it'll take them a while to tally up attendance. We'll probably get some attendance numbers sometime in the days ahead. Eh?
I believe so. I haven't asked anybody about that yet, but I would anticipate maybe something on Monday or Tuesday, sometime early next week. Saturday is the last day for this year's Agribition. So we could see, attendance, reaching a record high potentially, or we could see it, reach pre-pandemic levels. We'll see what the numbers say for now. But from what I could see, it's been looking pretty good.
And of course, there was bullfighting. Did you actually take part in that, Ryan, like we threatened you would last week?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't take part in the bullfighting. I don't think my wife would approve of doing that. But on a different note, I did have a chance to interview a dairy cow and an alpaca, or two alpacas actually, but they were some really hard interviews. I would jokingly say harder than a politician.
Usually politicians are easy to interview because they love to talk.
Yeah, usually. I guess the alpacas, they did make us, they did say something, but I was kind of far away, unfortunately, for the microphone to pick it up. So, and then the dairy cow just kind of looked up and smelt the mic, and that was pretty much it. So,
And Miss Rodeo Agribition for the first time this year as well.
yeah, absolutely. You would think in 52 years of the event, like, there would be something at some point, but better late than never, I guess I would say. It's been a really good competition, I guess I would say. There was Ari Dick was crowned the winner, and talking with her the other day, she was ecstatic when she found out she won. She was probably crying, as she put it, when she found out. There was a group hug with the other two finalists, and got to see the crown on her custom-made cowboy hat. It looks really nice. I asked her what she, excuse me, what she plans on doing with it, and she said, "Well, my parents are planning on putting it on their mantles." So she was really happy to be crowned that, and really use the title as kind of an opportunity to not only be the ambassador for Canadian Western Agribition, but also kind of use it as a way to inspire other women to take part in the competition, and also to say like, hey, she's also a welder for a daytime job, so she would likely be using that as a way to say like, hey, women, we can do these things that men can do. We can weld, we can be on the ranch, we can do everything that they can do. And you don't have to stick with whatever somebody tells you to do, right? If you enjoy something, go ahead and do it. That was one of her key messages in the scrum the following day after winning.
Excellent. Well, we'll move on to our next topic, and that's Bill C-234. It's still languishing in third reading in the Senate. The Yorkton Chamber of Commerce was the latest organization around here anyway to throw their support behind its passage. And Kevin, you've been following it, I'm sure, as well, and hearing that it still hasn't passed yet. So what's going on with Bill C-234?
Well, it's become a bigger and bigger issue. Sometimes a bill like this that starts out as a private member's bill looked like it was going to pass the House of Commons easily. It looked like it was going to sail through the Senate and be long since done. Has been mired in more and more political infighting in the Senate. I even saw it on, I can't remember which, whether it was CBC or CTV National News, even had a mention of the Senate shenanigans going on around Bill 234, trying to exempt propane and natural gas from heating and cooling buildings, and also for grain drying. You guys as reporters, you must call it the gift that keeps on giving, because you always have something new to to point out as to what's going on. But it's sort of been all wrapped in the whole bigger picture of carbon pricing carve-outs. So what started out as not very many people in the mainstream media paying attention, even the mainstream media are now paying attention. It's become very interesting.
The last thing that I read was Stephen Guilbeault, the federal environment minister. He paid a visit to the upper chamber, and not surprisingly, almost expected, the Tory senators, they were grilling him on the issue, with one of them, I believe it was Donald Plett, that was accusing Guilbeault of trying to coerce other senators to vote against the bill, and to just basically said, come clean on what you want to do, like just admit it. But Guilbeault was not having any of that, and managed to wiggle his way around that. And not surprisingly, after Guilbeault left and completed his testimony about the bill, debate adjourned for the day. So this is, like you said, Kevin, this is the gift that keeps on giving, and just another chapter in this ongoing saga.
All right, and canola prices once again, Kevin, looks like they started out strong this week, but then kind of dropped off toward the end of the week.
Yeah, they were looking hopeful for a while, went up quite substantially. Looked like we were maybe going to have a turnaround, and then a number of softer days. And it's a strange market week anyway, with the Thanksgiving holiday in the US and a shortened week, and many other people taking holidays, not as active a trade in that whole market, which sometimes influences canola. So interesting to see some fairly major moves on canola first up, and then retrenching and losing much of that ground later in the day. So hard to make of what's happening with that canola market, and whether we're going to see and when we're going to see some price improvement.
And I guess that bodes well into the next subject, is new crop contract prices. Those are kind of coming out right now, are they?
There are some things coming out, and oftentimes in the past couple of years, when mustard has been in short supply, the mustard contracts have been out very early, and there's been lots of people asking questions about mustard contracts for the 2024 crop. And finally, there are some out, and basically in general terms, around 70 cents a pound for yellow, 60 cents a pound in that area for brown, around 50 cents a pound for oriental mustard, which a few years ago would have been considered very good prices. But after the last couple of years where we've seen 70, 80, and 90 cent new crop contract prices, I'm not sure what producers will make of that, whether they'll think that's something they should grab onto, given that a lot of commodity prices have slipped down a bit, or whether they'll think that that's not that attractive and not do as much contracting. Mustard is a crop that typically a lot of the crop is contracted. The only other thing I've seen of interest is large green lentils, which are flying high, in that 70 cent a pound range, reaching record highs for large green lentils current price. And there are now some new crop contract prices in the 45 to 50 cent a pound range for large green lentils. So I'm sure there'll be a number of producers scratching their head over that, because that historically is a pretty good contract price.
Is there anything, Kevin, that kind of grabs your eye, or any other contract that might pique your interest?
I think and this is more for Southwest Saskatchewan, where Kabuli chickpeas are an option. South Central and Southwest Saskatchewan is where the majority of those are grown. I expect that there may be some offers going on with new crop prices on that, and most people are expecting an acreage increase in Kabuli chickpeas. So that's one of the ones that's interesting. I think there's going to be a little bit of activity around green peas. Yellow peas the current price is not very attractive. I'm sure new crop contract prices wouldn't be attractive either, wouldn't attract much interest, but green peas have been much, much stronger than yellow peas. And I expect that there may be some contract activity around that will be of interest to producers if they're willing to grow the green peas, which have a little bit more of a quality risk to them than the yellows.
Well, all right. I think that's going to do it for this week. It's been an agribition kind of week, so I've kind of stole all the headlines, but nonetheless, we still have plenty going on. So I guess on behalf of Kevin Hursh and Ryan Young, I'm Doug Falconer saying so long until next week.